It's been a long reign for Tearlaments, but the April banlist has finally managed to dethrone them from their spot in the meta. With the limit of banning of almost every Tearlament monster, as well as the Ishizu monsters, Tearlaments have lost the majority of their remaining milling capability and consistency, and yet they're still struggling and clinging on. Tearlament players are hard at work experimenting in hopes of keeping the deck alive, and the changes that are being made are quite interesting. Looking at some of the post-banlist Tearlaments decks from the past week, we can see some trends in deck building. To compensate for the now lacking consistency of Tearlaments, ways to get the Tearlaments are now much more valued, with builds not only running Primeval Planet Pelarino, but also Pressure Planet Resolve to search Tearlaments Kashtira. Some listers go even further, playing terraforming and even set rotation, while others play a copy of Trificama to mill or send off for foolish barrel goods. These adaptations help to patch up the consistency issue Tearlaments now face, although not completely. Players also look to solve the issues of Tearlaments' newfound lack of consistent milling. The unbanning of Glow Up Bolt gave Tearlaments access to an ideal tuner for synchro summoning, able to be milled and subsequently special summoned from the grave. Its level of 1 makes it perfect to use with the level 7 Tearlament Kashtira to synchro summon Chaos Ruler, providing Tearlaments with a powerful mill engine. Mathematician is also being run in some builds, giving them a decent normal summon that's able to send a level 4 or lower monster from your deck to the graveyard, including Tearlaments, Ishizu monsters, and even Glow Up Bolt. Other players instead opted to return to running Diviner of the Heralds for much of the same utility, allowing them to dump Kelbeck and Agito to mill, Keldor and Medora for interruption, as well as Elder Entity and Tis for some spot removal when required. Due to the decrease in the amount of Tearlament and Ishizu names available, players are now experimenting with different graveyard payoffs to improve their mills. Some builds have chosen to increase the number of Tearlament Celiac, giving them a higher chance to search a Tearlament off their mills. Other builds have decided to branch out, experimenting with cards like Destrudo, Zephyros, and even Fairy Tail Snow, giving the deck access to new options to help them extend further, with tools like number 60 Dagaris the Timeless as well as Ancient Fairy Dragon now at their disposal. It's hard to say which, if any, of these options are consistent enough to make the final cut, but it's interesting to see what players will try next. With the amount of different builds that are being experimented with at the moment, it's far too early to declare that Tearlaments are dead. Players are hard at work to keep the deck alive, although many others are sure to want the opposite. That being said, it's looking unlikely that Tearlaments are going to be a major contender in this format. The game is finally free from the terror of both sprites as well as Tearlaments, proving that the only thing stronger than the power of the elements is the power of the banlist.